We are now officially recording, so I think I met just about everybody in my last session because I think I've got just about everybody in this math class in my PAA 9 course. If I didn't meet you in the PAA 9 meeting, welcome, and it's nice to meet you. I'm looking forward to working with you. Today, I don't have a whole lot planned, so I'm going to just try to keep it as short as I can. I did say that in my PAA 9 as well, and I did go overtime. I'm making you a promise I will not do that. I just want to go over some of the class housekeeping stuff and where we are and where we're going to be, and the way that I do things and how it might be a little bit different from Ms. Vetter, and that's probably where I'm going to leave it today. Do we need to do work today? Yeah, but I know that there's videos up for every single concept in this class because I made them, so you should have some instruction on how to do that. You probably don't necessarily need this live session today to get started on Unit 2. All right, I'll just kind of chip through these things one by one as I remember them, and if you've got any questions, throw them in the chat, and I will address them one by one, but I'm going to tell you what I know. Okay, so first off, our math class was getting too big, and the students were kind of all over the place with regard to where they were in the course. So we decided this semester that we were going to split in two, and Ms. Vetter took half the class, and I took the other half. And you guys, as far as, and what, by the way, sorry if I ever say you guys, I'm not intending to. I try to tell myself not to use that phrase, but I end up doing it anyway. I certainly don't mean any offense. You folks are in the same shell that you were in before, which obviously no, because you're here. So nothing has changed. You don't need to look for a new email and enrollment email or anything like that. As far as you're concerned, it's business as usual, and we're just going to keep moving forward. You know this is a full year class, so you've got this class till June, which means you only need to spend an hour on it every day, not 2 hours like your other classes. If you are spending the time every day to do your work, the way I designed it, really you should only have to spend about a half hour to 45 minutes to make sure that you're doing things properly and you're practicing and getting everything handed in on time. If it takes you longer, that's fine. That's not a big deal. Everybody has strengths in certain areas and weaknesses in other areas. What a strong math student might be able to do in a half hour might take somebody else an hour, and but that person might be done their English and do a good job in a half hour. It takes the math person an hour. It's all dependent on who you are, and what I want you to do is I want you to set goal for yourself in this class, either with regard to mark or what you learned or however. Most people just pick a mark, and whatever that goal is, I want you to meet it. Okay, I want you to meet and exceed that goal if possible. And if that goal for you is to get 100% in the class, that's great. If that goal is to get 65 because you've struggled with math, or 51 because you've struggled with math, that's fine too. Everybody learns at a different rate and everybody has strengths and weaknesses. The important thing is you set a goal and that you work toward it. So I'm going to encourage that, and I'm also going to encourage you to reach out when you have questions. As I said in the PAA 9 course, I want you to try to solve it on your own first. And, I think you're of an age and at a level of responsibility where it's not too much of an expectation for you to go back and look over the section in the text again, or to rewind my video and have another look at that section, or even just to type the concept in Google and have a quick look at what shows up. I mean, that's a 30-second touch that might save you an hour of kind of banging your head against the wall. So I would like you to try to solve the problems on your own, but I do not want you to get overly frustrated. Okay, there comes a point where the frustration becomes completely counterproductive, and it makes you feel bad, and you're not moving forward, and it's counterproductive, and it doesn't help you move forward in math, and it makes you feel worse. So why do it? So before you get to that point of frustration, that's when you need to email me and say, hey, listen, I tried a couple different ways. I'm getting the wrong answer. Can you help me? And I will guarantee you I will respond. I will either send you a picture telling you, showing you what you did wrong, or telling you what you did wrong, or making you a little video or whatever I need to do to help you understand that. But I do know that if you solve the problem, if you use critical thinking and go back over the materials and solve the problem yourself, you're much, much more likely to retain that. And also you get the added benefit of confidence the next time you have an issue that you're going to be able to solve it and you're going to be able to move forward. And confidence in your ability to use critical thinking to solve problems is one of the most important skills that you can ever develop in the world. In fact, it's the skill that employers are looking for more than anything. No employer gives a darn if you've memorized a bunch of stuff and can spit it back. That is not a valuable skill anymore. It used to be, but it's not anymore. We can look up anything we want on Google and get our answer in 30 seconds. There's really not much point to memorizing anything. If you do it enough, you'll memorize it just because you're doing it so often. The important part, and the thing that all employers are looking for nowadays, is can you use the information that you have access to solve a problem? That has become the currency of employment in the 21st century. Okay, not what necessarily what you already know how to do, but how do you know how to solve a problem using the information that you have access to? Can you do it properly? Can you do it quickly? Can you do it effectively? And can you do it independently? If you have those skills, you're going to do very, very well in the world. Okay? I'm telling you this. This is the way that the modern working world has evolved. Okay? Employers want creative thinkers who can use critical thinking skills to solve problems. And math is absolutely a wonderful place to practice that skill, because there usually is an answer. It's not particularly subjective, all right? Which means that, there aren't really 2 or 3 ways you could describe this. Yeah, a paragraph could be read one way, it could be read a different way. There could be issues that are kind of black and white, or that are gray, and you can see arguments on one side and see arguments on the other. For the most part, mathematics isn't really like that. You're going to try and demonstrate you understand how to use a concept, and you're going to get the right answer, you're going to get the wrong answer. So it's easy for you to tell if you've learned what you needed to learn and if you've solved the problem using the resources that you have. That's one of the reasons I like math. I've always enjoyed teaching Math 9. I love working with younger math students. The level of math that students come out of grade 8 with is very, very different. Because there's so many elementary schools and there's so many math teachers, and a lot of the teachers in elementary schools, this isn't a knock on them, but it's reality. A lot of the teachers in elementary school aren't really math teachers. They teach everything, right? And most of them are really good at teaching a lot of different things, but it's a lot to expect to have somebody who's got a really strong background in math to expect that that's the kind of level of instruction you're going to get in grade 8. We know that elementary teachers are the best at knowing a lot about a lot of different areas. So that's not a knock on elementary teachers at all, but that's a reality that in high school, you're going to have math teachers teaching you math, and that's all they're going to teach you, more or less, right? Some of us teach a whole bunch of different subject areas, but generally speaking, you're going to have math experts teaching you math. You're going to have, language professionals, literature professionals that have trained and taught it a lot and went through university and whatnot for your English classes. And you're going to have people who studied history a lot in your history classes and whatnot. So that's it's a slightly different approach than what you see in elementary school. Again, not a dig at all on elementary teachers. They do amazing work. I could not do their job. In fact, I tried when I was on the sub list, and I was like, pay all the elementary teachers all the money. Okay, I think the whole point of that was everybody comes in with kind of a different level. Some people come in with more, some people come in with a little less. And grade 9 is sort of the melting pot where we try to get everybody to the same level so that when you go into grade 10, you're confident in your abilities to earn the credit, whether you take MFP 10 or whether you take the MWA 10 or whether you take both, right? So some people are kind of already 3/4 of the way there. Some people, have some gaps to fill, and that's what the grade 9 math course is intended to do. And I'm here to help. So if you are struggling, do not hesitate to reach out to me. You send me an email, I guarantee I'll send you one back, and it'll either have something that I think will help you, or it'll be just a message saying, I'm working on something for you, I'll get it to you as soon as possible, or it might say something like, this will be easier to discuss if you and I just meet for 5 minutes on this day at this time, and we'll bump through it, all right? So I'm always very responsive about that. When somebody reaches out and says, hey, I need a little help with this, if you tell them, no, figure it out on your own, then they go away and they will never ask you for help again. So I want to be very clear that although I want you to do your best to try to solve it on your own and to use the resources that you've got to solve the problem, you are never, ever going to hear from me no, don't bother me with this. Go solve it yourself. That's not what I mean when I say you should try to solve it yourself. What I mean is you will learn it better if you go back, have another look, or check in a different spot or something. You'll remember it better. It's not because I don't want to help you. It's because I want to help you in the right way. However, like I said, I don't want you to be frustrated, and I don't want you to not like math, and I don't want you to feel like you can't come to me with something. All right. So you're never gonna hear that's a stupid question, or no, I already explained this. Go back and read it again, or whatnot. I will try my best to help you in whatever way works best for you. But again, the research does tell us that if you are able to solve it on your own and apply critical thinking, you will retain it better. You will learn from it, and you will gain confidence from it. But always know that you can come to me for assistance or support or whatever you need. So. Open door policy. I think you'll find that I'm a pretty reasonable guy. I'm not gonna. I like people. I try to be good to people, and sometimes we all have bad days. I get it, but I generally think that my students are cool and I like them a lot. So I want to help them. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here and just we'll chip through a couple of the other things that I wanted to talk about, and then I will leave you to your long weekend. And all right, so notable changes from Ms. Vetter's class. I think we're going to meet on Mondays and Wednesdays and just keep it nice and consistent. And then I'm going to leave Friday open so that I can do maybe a little drop-in session for people who want a little one-on-one help. So I'll get a little bit more specific about what Friday might look like. But you can plan on us meeting every Monday at 2:20 and every Wednesday at 2:20. If we happen to have a long weekend, so we miss the Monday class or something, I'll probably push it to Tuesday because I do think it's important to have those live sessions. So in a normal week, Monday and Wednesday are the days that we are going to meet. We're going to meet generally for about a half an hour, maybe a little less. And then on Friday, if there is a want or a need from students in general, just to have kind of a drop-in session where you can bring in one question that you're struggling with, we can work through it together and then send you on your way. That's generally not a bad idea either. So plan on Monday, Wednesday. Generally speaking, that means Tuesday is going to be a work day. And that means that Thursday is generally going to be a day where you're going to be handing stuff in. Thursday and Friday are going to be days where you're going to be handing stuff in. So I'm trying to make it as consistent as possible so you always know what you should be doing on any given day in any given unit. Now, I spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours making videos for every unit and every concept of this course. And some of them are pretty good. Some of them are kind of okay. And a lot of them I'd like to just straight up replace. Here's why those videos are the way they are and the philosophy I used when making them. All right, I think several students will probably say, oh my God, that video is like an hour long and I can't listen to Dunbar drone on for an hour or an hour and a half or whatever it is. And I'm with you 100%. I get it. But here's the reality. Some students have the ability to do a quick 10 or 15 minute run through with me and understand the concept and are able to complete the assignments correctly and are generally confident in their ability to move forward to the next concept. Some students can do that 15-minute session but need just a little bit of extra assistance that they can look up in the textbook, or they can watch a part of my video and then they're fine. And some students need to watch every single little step that I do and have it explained in detail. And that's fine as well. Okay, there's no right and there's no wrong in this situation. It's just based on what is best for any particular learner. So the reason that my videos are so long is I really, really try to elaborate on each part of the process, and probably more so than many of you are going to need. But we got to make sure that for people who do benefit from having that sort of more elaborate explanation with maybe a few more examples, that they have access to that. It's not equitable otherwise. All right. So my recommendations to students have always been, in the live session, if I'm going through something for 20 to 30 minutes and you feel like you've got a pretty good handle on it and you can just go do the assignments, quizzes, exams, and do well on them, that's great. Okay, that's great. Go do it. Just make sure you're doing well. If you require maybe a little bit more instruction and you want some more detail, then I would advise that you watch the video. And if you feel like you're getting it and you're kind of bumping along and everything's okay, you might want to go to the little gear setting on YouTube and bump the speed up a bit, maybe 1.25 or 1.5. And I'll sound a little weird. I'll have, I'll have sort of the little chipmunk voice because the audio and the video are both running faster. But if you're able to watch it at 1.25 or 1.5 speed and you get all the concepts and you understand what I'm doing and you're able to apply what you're learning in your own assignments, that's great too. And then for, if you feel like it's better if you just go through the video at regular speed and maybe every once in a while you stop it and rewind it if you missed a concept or something, that's fine as well. What I definitely recommend though, for whatever approach we're taking, do math while we're discussing math. Okay, so if I'm trying to give you examples, digital examples, where I'm writing out the question and showing you how to do it and whatnot on either the live session or the video, you should be doing math as well. All right, it's too much to expect from any human being that they can just watch something for a half an hour and then remember exactly what to do all the time. That's a skill, and if you have it, that's great. But most people don't have that. Most people will learn better if they kind of, they watch me do it and then kind of chip along, and then we do one, so we do one together and then you do one. And basically, so you're doing math and you're listening and watching math all at the same time. Students tend to learn better. So I do recommend that you have your note paper, or your notebook, or whatever you got, and your textbook open and your pencil, and that you're actually writing stuff down. Do I need to take notes? Somewhat. I actually haven't done a deep dive into the classroom yet. The way I had it set up is that I had workbooks that students could download and either print off or just use the questions and the concepts from the workbook and write their own answers and notes in a notebook or something like that. I think I like that approach. Some students literally did print off everything, all the workbooks, and do the work in the workbooks as I was going through the concepts on the video and whatnot, and it worked well for them, and that's great. Other students said, I don't want to print that much stuff out, or I don't have a printer. So I'd say, okay, well, you've got access to the workbook, so why don't you just have the workbook on the screen, and then you've got your pen and paper, pencil and paper, pencil, paper, or your notebook or whatever, your math binder, and then just answer the questions on the paper. But when you're studying, make sure you're using the notes and whatnot from the workbooks. It's an open book, like the assessments, the quizzes and the exams. It's open book, right? There's no way I can prevent it from not being open book. And as long as you are using the information that you have to answer the question properly, that's good. That's what happens in the real world. In the real world, if let's just say you're a computer programmer or something, it's you know how to do a lot of stuff just because you've been doing it for so long. But if the boss comes up to you and says, I need you to program in a new language that you've never looked at before. Oh, and then they get mad at you because you don't know how to do it. No, that doesn't happen. They give you a problem and say, hey, you're going to have to look into a new language to solve this problem. And you're going to go, or at least somebody who's good at their job is going to go, okay, I don't know how to do that right now, but I'm going to figure it out. And then that's where you go find your information. That's where you look in the forums and you do some training tutorials and you watch YouTube videos and learn how to do it. And then you solve the unique problem that your boss gave to you, and then you give it back to them and say, here you go. Okay, and now I got a few more skills, and that's good. That's what's valuable, and same thing in math, right? So I think one of those two approaches is probably fine. Now, there's a couple things that might be a little different about the way I take in work and what I do with it than Ms. Vetter. We talked about it quite a lot, and I think that it's probably best if we try to keep everything as consistent as possible for you. So the way that she had her gradebook and stuff set up, I might change that a little bit. But by and large, if she told me that she was letting you write what I used to call quizzes. She calls them assignments, but they were hand-in, right? So she said that I was handing out the assignments or posting them, and then the students would complete them, take pictures of them, submit them, and then I would just mark either right or wrong, and then give them back to the students, and then the students would have the opportunity to rewrite them and resubmit them once to get a better mark. So that's a little different than the way I used to do things. I used to just give a quiz and there were no rewrites. So if you did something incorrectly, I would, try to give you lots of feedback on the paper so that when we came to the unit exam, which was worth the most, that we used the quiz as kind of as practice. I'm perfectly okay with the approach that you folks have already been using. So I think I'm going to continue that. If I accidentally call them quizzes every once in a while, It's because they were called quizzes in my class, but I believe she calls them assignments. So I'm going to kind of treat it the same way. When it's, an assignment is due, you should be writing it out. You should be taking pictures of it. You should be submitting it the way you normally submit it. I will mark right and wrong, but not give any other feedback. And then you will have an opportunity to take what I gave you and then fix it and resubmit it. And then if there's still something wrong, I'll give you more feedback so that you know for the unit exam. I think that's a fair approach. It gives you two cracks at each assignment or quiz or whatever we want to call them. And it also prepares you for the unit exam, which are going to continue to be worth more than anything else. So that's the way I want to go about that. I will not allow you, if you have a digital pen or some way, or if you're one of those few people that can use the mouse and accurately do math and draw math on a PDF or something, I don't type out your math. Okay, it's not good enough. It's not the way it's done in school. It's not the way it's done in university, and it's not the way it's done in any job. Okay, there's software that we use to help make our lives easier, but when people are actually computing math and solving math concepts, you need to be doing it. You need to be writing it. You need to be showing me your work, your step by step, and it shouldn't be typing. Okay? If you are going to type, it means you should be using an equation editor. And if you're using an equation editor, it's going to take 10 times as long as it should. So you should be using a pencil and paper, or you should be using a tablet with a pen if you have access to such a thing, and then either taking pictures of it and then submitting the pictures for your assignments, or if you do have a digital tablet and you're writing, drawing your math out, as long as you're showing your work and doing it the way you've probably done it all the way through elementary, that's fine. Okay, but I know a couple people, I don't know if they ended up in my class or Ms. Vetter's class, but I know a couple people were just typing things out using a keyboard. That's not going to cut it in this class. So you're going to have to change that. I think 99% of people find that the best way to do it is to either print out the assignment or quiz or whatever it is and just fill it in with pencil, and then take a picture of it and then submit the picture. It's easier for me if you take pictures. Let's say it's a 3-page written exam. You should take 3 pictures of the 3 pages of the exam, and then there's apps that are free on phone and on computer where you can take those images and make them into a single PDF document and then hand in that single PDF document, or turn it into a Word document, or turn it into a Google Doc. One of those 3 options is the best. It's my preference that I get one document, whether it's a PDF, a Word doc, a Google Doc. If you're on a Mac, maybe a Pages doc or something like that, because it shows up in a way that I can easily assess it and give you feedback. Whereas if you give me 5 different images, I have to download each image and blah, 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 and it's a total pain in the butt. So if you don't know how to do this, or if you don't know what app to use to turn pictures into a PDF, or if you don't know how to drag pictures into a Word document, I can help you with that, but we need to get you doing that because it's quicker for me. It's better. It's easier for me to give you better feedback, and then it's easier for you to get better feedback, and it gets back to you quicker. I think I saw a question pop up there about your first exam. Now, Ms. Vetter did the first exam with you, so I believe that she will be assessing that and putting a mark in for you. I'll double check on that, but I imagine it's something that'll get done, probably over the weekend. She's a hard worker. She's probably going to be working all weekend. But I think that Ms. Vetter is going to finish up that marking, and then I'm going to start with you fresh in Unit 2. So that should answer your question. Sorry, Ethan, question from back. Am I supposed to be in PAA 9? I doubt it. If you've got 2 French classes, it's probably 2 French and math, and that's it. I can check that for you later if you want. Okay, so that handles the hand-in assignments. Textbook work, I assume, again, I haven't looked at it very closely, but I assume that Ms. Vetter is also assigning textbook practice work. You all have access to the text, which means you have access to the answers at the back of the text, which means you should be doing some of those practice questions, and you should be checking them. When you're doing practice questions, you should do a couple, check the answers, and then do some more. If you do 10 questions or 15 questions in a row, and then you realize when you check the answers that you got them all wrong, you basically have a whole long way to go back to start again. If you do a couple, check, do a couple, check, and then once you're confident you really know how to do this stuff, then do the rest, you're probably going to save yourself some effort. Math is about making mistakes. It's fine to make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. I teach math and I make them all the time. And you probably noticed even in my videos, I make mistakes and I go back after the fact and I correct them, or I make a note or something. It's fine to make mistakes. The ability to learn from those mistakes and hopefully not make them too many times in the future is the important part. So, like that's what I usually treat quizzes for. Like a failed quiz might be the best gift you could give yourself, because if you don't know how to do it, at least you found out before you wrote the unit exam. Okay, you might have gotten a poor mark on the quiz, but you might have saved yourself on the unit exam. Whereas if you didn't, if you just didn't do a quiz or anything and you thought you knew everything and you bombed on the unit exam, then that's much worse, right? Okay, yeah, once again, I've talked for 30 minutes and I didn't intend to. I think that's probably all I need you to know. This calendar thing, I'll continue to put up every week, just telling you what I think you should have. I'll also put up a big version that takes us all the way at least to the end of the second quarter. And everything's still going to be in learning modules. And I took out what Ms. Vetter had for this week, but it was basically, you did the scratch stuff Monday and yesterday, and then it was starting 2.1 today. So I do want you to watch the video for the start of 2.1. Okay, we're starting to deal with exponents. You did unit 1, you did unit 3. So start unit 2. I'm going to lean on you to just watch the video for 2.1, and I'll field some questions on Tuesday. And then I'll on Tuesday, I'll answer any questions you have, and then I'll kind of move forward at that point. I'll do a quick lesson on 2.2, and you can either just go and do your work, or you can watch the video that I made for if you need more information. And don't forget, you should be spending an hour a day on this. If you're not spending an hour a day on this, then it's gonna catch up to you sooner than later, and we just don't want that to happen. We've spread the math course out so that you have lots of calendar time and an hour a day to learn it, because as you probably expect, math in high school is pretty important. Math outside of high school and the ability to think critically and use your ability to quantify things and estimate and solve problems is really important in the real world as well. So getting yourself set up for that by doing well and working hard in your Math 9 class is really important. Yeah, Dave, you probably did learn everything taught already. That's good. But you haven't learned everything that we're going to teach. And if you think you do, I got a challenge for you. All right, folks, that's it. Are there any questions? Is there anything I missed? If I think of it after, or if you send me an email and you got questions, please do. If you got questions, or if I forgot to talk about something, let me know, and then I'll just bring it up at our next live session. Aside from that, you folks have a wonderful weekend. And I'm just going through here, making sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. We're all good. Nope, brain freezes when it comes to math. Don't worry about it. We'll work through it, right? I'm here for you. I got you. We got you. I think it's going to be a good group. I'm looking forward to it. All right, I'm not seeing any questions, so toodaloo. If you're working on your 2.1 stuff, do your 2.1 stuff before you take your break. You got it like 4-day weekend. Get it out of the way. Then you don't even have to worry about it. Don't even think about it. But if you got any questions on the weekend or whatever, send me an email. No promises that I answer them on the weekends, but usually I do. Take care. Peace. You too. Good to meet y'all. Looking forward to it. Bye, Jennifer. See you one. Enjoy your long weekend there, folks.